Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Director General of Valuation and Property Services, JPPH, Sir Abdul Razak bin Yuzak, Director of Expense, Haji Amran bin Mat Yaqub, Director Plan and Machinery Division, Mr. Muhammad Zamri bin Awang as moderator. Panelists, Datin Saleha binti Yusuf, Sir Haji Asman Shah Muhammad Arifin, Mr. Jaya bin Abu, and all participants. Today, I would like to present IKN or IKN, Ibu Kota Negara, an overview of Indonesian New Capital City projects and Jakarta property market. This presentation is about the relocation of Jakarta into new capital city of Indonesia named IKN, and to what extent its impacts to Jakarta property market. Ladies and gentlemen, IKN is regulated in the Act number 3 years 2022. So, what is special about it? Indonesia has one more government body that manages IKN. IKN will be under the government special authority. And it is good things that IKN has property visions. Number one, IKN is expected to be a sustainable city. Second, IKN will be Indonesian economy catalyst. Third, and IKN is a national identity. This is the map of IKN located in Kalimantan Islands. The new capital will be in the middle east of Kalimantan. The city is on that yellow-pink area. The yellow is development area of IKN. The pink is main area of IKN. Well, we see the maps of Indonesia. IKN located in the center as a reflection of the vision of IKN. And then when we see the land use planning of IKNs, there will be three main areas. First, western area of IKN will be developed for office, business, district, talent development center, and university. Second, central government core area. It is reserved for national government and smart government office. Eastern area of IKN will be constructed for office, business district, talent development center, business hotel, MICE or meeting, incentive, convention, exhibition. This is the new city will be expected. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some reasons of the development of new capital city. The first reason is about the population and urbanization. We see on the left, Java Island consists around 57% of Indonesia population. And it's the biggest proportion of Indonesia population than other region, including Kalimantan, with the only around 1%. The new capital city is expected to distribute the population, it reducing the pressure of Jakarta. From the urbanization growth, it can be seen that Jabodetabek Punjur, we call it Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, Bekasi, Puncak, and Cianjur. That is, Jakarta suburbs consist of 32.7 million population. We can imagine, right? In 2013, Jakarta ranks 10th city the most populous in the world. And in 2017, it became ranked 9th most populous city in the world than before. So, there are several common issues due to most populated cities such as criminal, congestion, unemployment, traffic jams, and so on. The second reason is land conversion. The largest land conversion happened on Jakarta Islands according to the Bappenas, or National Board of Plannings, is linked to the water availability crisis in Java, especially in Jakarta. Why is this the important issue? Because water is very important for people and the main source of various aspects of industry. It can be seen that Jakarta is in the red zones, which means absolutely scarcity. So, moving the capital to EKN will also reduce to the pressure on Jakarta. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the second reason is environmental problems that are still related to land conversions. Decreasing Jakarta environmental carrying capacity. So just imagine groundwater level drops 7.5 up 10 centimeters per year. Around 57% reservoir water is polluted. 61% river is heavily polluted. 25 until 50 centimeters per year rest of sea level. And around 50% of Jakarta area has flood severity level below 10 years. So ideal for a big city, minimum around 50 years. The Jakarta area is threatened by volcanic activity also, such as Krakatau Mountains, and then Gunung Gede, and the potential for earthquake tsunami, South Megatras, West Java and Sunda Straits, and land earthquakes, Baribis Fault, Lembang Fault, and Cimandiri Fault. The land fell by 35 up 50, 70 during the period 2007 until 2017. This is the situation of Jakarta, and moving the capital is to reduce the pressure to Jakarta itself. Ladies and gentlemen, actually, how much the cost of these projects? The National has estimated the total cost to reach around 485.2 trillion rupiah, or equal with 34 billion US dollar. So, assuming the state has to procure around 40,000 hectares of land and move 1.5 million people, including the state apparatus, civil servants, the police, and of course, military personnel. The government budget is expected to cover around 19% of the total financing needed to fill the gap The government will invite state-owned enterprise and private sector players to participate in the financing. On financing resource of the project is expected from utilizing of government asset in Jakarta. How could that be? Because the value of government asset in Jakarta is up to 1.5 trillion Indonesia rupiah to 100.6 million US dollar. The asset is located across Jakarta from north to south and between west and east Jakarta. Fortunately, the government has built so many facilities that support the city of Jakarta itself. You can see on the screen that many large projects have been completed, such as monorails, expressways, toll routes, and so on. This relates to the previous slide that this facility and infrastructure will help us to utilize a site in Jakarta. Now, we discuss the issue. IKN pandemic and the Jakarta property market. As we know that pandemics occur all over the world and have a real impacts, Indonesia is no exception. Then, what is the impact on the property market in Jakarta? As reported by Colliers Indonesia, leasing activity may pick up pandemic cash load continue to decline. The number of groundbreaking is slowing down, but some projects are underway. Cumulative supply is expected to grow about 2% per year from 2022 to 2025. But remember, moving capital in IKN bring new 300,000 square meter of supply by government building. There is uncertainty because of new 300 square supply from the government buildings. Rent are expected to slowly return to pre-pandemic. Vacancy, of course, will fall. Selling price expected to increase to until 3% per year from 2022 to 2025. So, however, the rent vacancy and selling price will haven't been considered about the new supply came from the government. Analysts say that the market in the absence of relocation of the capital will be good for the next 2 until 3 years. But, of course, we cannot rule out that there are underutilized central government buildings and become new supplies for the property market. We have to consider about it because this is a huge amount of space. Ladies and gentlemen, still in moderate condition in the office property market. You can imagine that the occupancy can be said to decrease from 2020 to 2022 due to pandemics and is expected to increase until 2025. The same things also happen to average basic rental price demand, both CBD, Central Business District, and outside CBD, which also decreased from 2019 to 2022 and will start to rise again, we hopefully until by 2025. So both occupancy and rent can be said to be slow but still promising. Outside supply of the government relocation building, the occupancy rate is expected to increase and return to the pandemic level of 80%. The above is an expectation to the addition of supply from the government. That's the problem we must think about, but however, some analyst statements keep promising. when we see the growth of Indonesian economics. Ladies and gentlemen, when we see from the evidence of apartment market, we see that occupancy rose from 58.2% to 61.4%, mainly propelled by the arrival of new expatriates coming to Indonesia who have increased demand for service department, primarily for long stay purpose around 1 month or longer. The rental increment will be limited between 1% and 3%. This is, I think, is optimistic scenario from apartment. The question is, what should we do? Should we make the government building into office apartment? This is a nice question, I thought. So as the government, we should think about the asset left in Jakarta. We should think about strategy option. COVID-19 has impact weaknesses of income producing property. Around 5 drivers for repurposing government building are: first, uncertainties around occupier demands over the medium to long term. E-commerce disruption rendering retail asset obsolete. And then prolonged weak international tourism impacting hospitality assets. The growing importance of environmental, social, and government or ESG. This is our commitment in repurposing asset due to climate change as an issue that happen. Last is emergence of sector with structural tailwinds. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a research from Knight Frank 2021 to know people taste regarding the use or type of asset. We need to know the demand profile. In the next 3 years, the expected demand for property is food and beverage, offering 54%, healthcare facility 46%, gym facility 39%, drop and collected parcel facility 37%, free food and drinks 36%, facilities that support mental well-being 33%, cold storage and facilities around 33%, concierge 31%, children facilities 27%, and educational program and facility 70%. So what should be considered for repurposing the government assets? The following are key considerations for repurposing asset. Number 1, market profile. So what is the building market segmentation? We have to make sure what segment is the government building places. For rental income, what is actually the potential rent of the buildings? What should we do to maximize incomes? The government regulation. Are there incentive by government to repurpose for the buildings? For example, the city planning regulation. Operating expense. How is the operational cost? What is about the energy efficiency? We have to think about the existing operational cost and what we can do make it more the efficiency. Investment trends. What is actually the investor potential? The investor is not the only local investor, but also global investor. Next considerations about risk. What the building risk? The risk can be from designs or building structure. We have to mitigate them to maximize benefit. For economic characteristic, is the property less marketable than your competitor buildings? Discount? Yes, of course. Will the market price your asset as discount to your competitor asset as your is deemed risky? Should we give some discount for government assets? And then about the value, is the utilization maximum is the highest and best use of the property. Of course, this is an important analysis to get the most beneficial option for repurposing building. The last about the opportunity. Does the repurposed property fulfill an underserved segment in the location? We have to understand the niche and the market gap. So we can formulate strategy to fill it. That where the government asset will be placed in the market. So that all consideration should be put in comprehensive strategy of government assets, repurposing especially a part of contribution to the IKN project and develop Jakarta as sustainable city. Ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion from this paper is the new capital city project has created a mix of different situations on Jakarta property market. Resources may be dragged to East Kalimantan that may impact to slow down the supply. However, significant number of vacant government building in Jakarta may cause over supply. Vacant government building and abandoned area may be converted into multi-option repurposing use, considering demand profile and key aspect. The advance of Jakarta infrastructure, hence a new development may be placed to close to terms, and this is the competitive advantage of Jakarta. So, Jakarta will remain as a modern city and on the path to a sustainable city. And of course, Jakarta would be less pressure and expected to be more sustainable in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you